stick to discipline. Just stick to your routine. If you have decided every morning I'm going to go to gym from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, then you stick to it. फिर चाहे बारिश गिरे तूफान आए कुछ भी आए you have to go for it, and it's just a matter of time. So when I used to read book, I came across this amazing concept where it said that it takes 11 days to change your routine, to adapt to a new routine.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Rugged Experiences brought to you by Rugged Indian. Today, actually, we have a very special guest with us. Her name is Priyanka Bhatt, and I would not go into her achievements because she's achieved a lot, and we'll know about it, very soon. She's sort of a sports management professional, I would say, yeah, and she works for a very leading sports management company. Uh, and there is so much to learn from her. Look forward to this conversation, to take out a lot of inputs as far as being a runner is concerned. So I'm sure runners out there, this is going to be a great insights session for you. uh, and while you listen to this podcast, I'm sure that you get to learn a lot. So let me introduce Priyanka here. So Priyanka, I would want to go back to 2014,
Yeah.
because you told me that in 2014 is when you began running,
Yeah.
right? Tell me about what was you doing before that, or until that point. What was it? How was your life without being an athlete?
I think I was not an athlete, but I was always into some or the other activity, because I think since my childhood I have always been one enthusiast of doing something over and above my studies. I used to not like study at all, so I used to engage myself into different classes, and always had this in me that I need to do something on my own and something that excites me. I have done 5 years of dancing with Shamandavar Institute, so I used to dance a lot. But as and when I moved to Mumbai and job became so hectic and travel itself is so hectic over here, I couldn't attempt to go to classes. I used to not get so much of time left in my hand to pursue dancing in a more serious way. And I think the most easy way that I thought I can adapt is a walk, jog, or running, because you don't need too much of an effort in walking or jogging or running. You just need a pair of shoes, get into a sports attire, and you can start being with at least a walk around in your society or the most nearby park, or you can just go for a small 30-minute or 40-minute walk or jog, whatever that you choose to do. And that's exactly how I started. I actually started my first run was in December 2014. There was a pinkathon that was happening. I had no clue about running. It's just some in my previous office there were these enthusiastic girls who were dying to see Milind Soman, and they all registered themselves for a 5K race कि मिलिन को देखने जा रहे हैं. 5K तो चलो कर लेंगे, मस्ती वाला वॉक जॉग जो भी है कर लेंगे, बट वी आर गोइंग टू सी मिलिन, एंड दे जस्ट साइन मी अप. आई हैड नॉट डन एनीथिंग, एंड in my head I'm like, okay fine, इतनी भीड़ में where you will see Milind. I said दिख गया ठीक है, but I will go and do 5K. And because I thought that I'm a dancer, I used to dance, and there was a bit of cardio in a way that I used to
Right.
always do or do home practice. I said a 5 kilometer I can do, like, and I remember starting my race, and in 500 meters, my heart was pumping, and I felt I'm going to die. And I remember finishing that 5 kilometer run in some 1 hour, 9 minutes or so, with walk, jog, clicking pictures with all my friends. And I took a auto rickshaw, and I was coming back home with utmost depressed face on the face of this earth. And I was just sad. I said, "ये क्या हुआ आज?" Like, I thought I am young and I can run, but it was a very serious awakening call for me. And I remember opening Google, and I just did next race in Mumbai, marathon in Mumbai, and it popped up with a Pavai Hiranandani that usually happens in first week of January. So I registered myself for 10 kilometers, like not 5, 10 karungi main. And
And
I
this was actually the very next month, or
very much next month.
okay.
I think I had 3.5 or 4 weeks. वो 5 किलोमीटर के बाद एक हफ्ता तो मैं उठ ही नहीं पा रही थी, so let's not count
And
that
just for
deep.
context, and if I may ask, what age was this?
I was 30.
30.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think I was around 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I was turning 30 or so.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
you
think
would still, I mean, at that age, you would still think that you're fit enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I think I was not touching 30 because I remember now very correctly that I thought I'm young.
Yeah.
Before 30, मतलब 28, 29 क्या age है? Like
Exactly.
you're fun and I was partying all time and I was eating good and doing well. And I thought कि running चल रहा है, I'm more enthusiast and more active person compared to all my other friends because at least I had dancing in my life in some or the other way. But yeah, it was very alarming, and I registered for Powai 10K. And I remember every day after coming to office in my society or early in the morning, I used to give only 30 minutes to 40 minutes. कि कोई किलोमीटर, I had no watch, no pace, cadence क्या है, heart rate क्या है, zero knowledge. I had no understanding of it. I only knew 30 मिनट भागना है, 6:30 बजे उठी तो 7 बजे तक भागना है, 6 बजे उठी तो 6:30 तक भागना है. That's it. And then I have to get ready, go office, and do this routine. And I think in Pawai Hiranandani 10K I did in like 1 hour and 6 minutes.
Oh, that's a great improvement.
Exactly. So that's when I was very happy. I said ये करने से तो होता है, and ज़्यादा कुछ effort नहीं था. इस बार ने मेरी walk
So you were
जो
just disciplined. Every day you would
Yeah.
just follow that particular route.
Yeah. And everybody tells me that till date, everybody asks me that यार मुझे I want to lose weight, I want to do running, और उठा नहीं जाता. And I always tell these people that the biggest excuse that you can give to yourself is उठा नहीं जाता. जब abroad travel करना होता है या कोई flight पकड़नी होती है तो उठते हो ना. So why not now? It's a very comfortable and a convenient excuse that you give. So I said, listen, I've also been through this, and I'm not trying to say that I was always a discipline right from day one. There have been days where I have literally not got up, and I've even given that excuse to myself. And I remember when I started falling in love with running, because after 10K of Powai Hiranandani, I again came back home, I again googled it, next race in Mumbai, and it popped up with Thane Hiranandani, which was happening. And I registered 21K. कि अब तो 10 तो अब तो 21 भी हो जाएगा. And I did on the same routine. हर रोज 40-45 minutes भागना है, which eventually became 1 hour because my endurance was increasing. I was enjoying it. And I did my first 21 in 2 hours 35 minutes.
Wow.
And I was happy. ये हो रहा है. Then no race were coming because usually summers are a slack for running
Correct.
season. And I think my running also dipped along with that. So yes, I have also been.
So hold your thought there,
Yeah.
right? So that's 2015, right,
Yeah,
that you're
yeah,
talking about.
2015, yeah.
Cut to 2023,
Yeah,
right? I didn't speak about your achievements.
yeah.
I would like you to talk about what have you achieved. I mean, your achievements in a nutshell in
Yeah.
2023, from that pinkathon
Yeah.
to this day in 2023. Can you just tell us what all have you done?
I'm not going to count the 5Ks and the 10Ks
Of course
and
not,
21Ks, but yeah, I have done close to 25 25 ultra marathons, close to 10 full marathons. And when I'm saying ultra, do 24 hours ultra run. I've represented India in 24 hours World Championship in 2019, where 192.8 kilometer was my highest. I have recently ran 24 hours track run in Canberra in Australia, and I'm qualified for this year's 24 hours World Championship. So I've just been little off from running because I'm focusing more on strength, but yeah, I'm just picking up now because it's time to get back into running again.
But that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is just phenomenal that in 2014 you had no clue
Yeah.
that in the next 10 years you will be doing this,
Yeah.
and you had no intention.
No.
Probably you had other plans in life or whatever,
Absolutely.
right? But this is mind-boggling what
Yeah.
you achieved, right?
Yeah.
Do you look back and do you also reflect saying that hey मैंने कैसे कर लिया, या you are very mindful कि हाँ ये मेरे achievements है. What's the
No,
sense?
not at all. I don't think I had planned any of it, and I don't still plan any of how the life shapes ahead in my career of running or otherwise. I think the reason a lot of things work for me because as a person also I try to keep a lot of things simple. मुझे complications पसंद नहीं है. I like to keep it very simple. Whether I'm eating something, I try to keep it simple. Whether I'm following something, I try to keep it simple. I have always been a person who likes to go back to basics and simplify things so that it is easy for me to understand and adapt as in how the situations comes up. And one of the basic reason I got stick to running was because not just that I was enjoying, because obviously there is a science also that you pump up your endorphins and you have this feel good thing, happy hormones are kicking up all the time and you enjoy all that phase. But keeping all that aside, I am a Gujarati. I love to eat. मुझे वो ख्याल बहुत हर्ट करता था that with age where doctor will say you can't eat this and you can't eat that. I think at my home I have seen with my grandparents or with elders that phase coming in their life, and I'm like, I'm not going to allow that at all, because I like to eat everything and I keep everything in a balance. I don't let myself starve. I don't let myself feel that damn, I can't eat this because I'm suffering from this. No, I like to eat everything and in balanced quantity. उसके लिए if I have to work out, I will do that. For me, that phase first of accepting what I really want. So food is something that I really want in my life, and I want to enjoy it as in when I grow old. Is one of the key reasons where I said उसके लिए क्या मेहनत करनी है, I'm ready to do that.
Okay.
So for me, it became very simple. That my goal was not to represent India. I had no clue what marathons, I had no clue what groups. I used to run all by myself. Though till today I run by myself, I don't prefer to stick to groups because I have my particular time frame and number of hours to run to, and not everybody can match on to it. But I enjoy, and also I enjoy being all by myself for that moment. Uh, but I had no idea of these groups. There are marathons which are happening. It's just as in when I started doing marathons, I realized that oh, there are groups and this is what happens. And I think eventually I keep on hearing from people saying ये ultra होती है, ये होती है. So you do some research, you figure it out, and then I just tell myself, let me try. क्या होगा ज़्यादा नहीं होएगा. But you learn something and you come. And I think I've just kept it that simple all the time, and that has just helped me to push because
So I think this is very interesting. Like you said, 2014, that Pinkathon, and then you're doing one ultra after another.
yeah,
Ultra runs are not at all easy, right?
Yeah.
Running for 24 hours is crazy
yeah.
enough, right? But what what does it give you? You have talked about food and not growing old, and the way
Yeah.
you don't want to grow old, but in that moment,
Yeah.
right, while you're running for 24 hours, what does it give you? Where do you go? What space is that?
Yeah.
If you can just tell
I
us
think
about
the
it.
space itself is a suffer fest, and it's a lot of pain and it's a lot of hurt. I don't think there is anyone on this earth who will say, "Oh, I enjoy ultra." That enjoyment and satisfaction comes when you are done with the run. During the run, nah, not at all, never ever. Uh, but I fell in love with the idea of ultra running because of its uncertainty.
Can you
Now, for
elaborate?
example,
Yeah.
when I say 24-hour run, 24 hours is an entire day. It's 24 hours.
Correct.
No matter how much I write with a paper and pen that I'm going to follow my race to the T in this manner, and no matter how much I strategize, I cannot have a guarantee on the external factors, let's say weather, how my hormones or body or energy is going to feel about it. I can have confidence on my training that I have done well and I'm going to give my best, which everybody does, but there is no guarantee that things will work in your favor.
Correct.
In 24-hour run, you can start feeling as the best that I'm going to rock this race. You eventually get into this is okay and this is going bad and it is also going worse. You will go through all those emotions into the race because it's 24 hours. And I think no matter how many distances that you practice, end of the day, it is not your mileage or of course, physical training helps, but ultimately it's the mental strength. What your brain is telling to your body is ultimately what matters. And I think I fell in love with that because I can show six-pack abs and I can show muscles, but I also know that when life throws challenges at you and when life knocks you down, it is not those muscles and abs which are going to lift you up, but it's your own mental strength that's going to lift you up.
Absolutely right.
And somehow in my life with putting all the challenges, I think I have some always learned about how to pick myself up and never give up with that fighting spirit, what you all call as, and I applied that into the race.
So, that's a very good point, right? And you talked about challenges. I'm sure that it has not been easy for you.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us what have been the challenges and how have you dealt with them? What exactly have you done?
I'm not getting too much into the nitty-gritties of entire life that you have been through, but if I talk on the running aspect, I put up by all by myself.
Hmm.
I have a full-time job.
Hmm.
There is only X number of hours that I can give on a weekday. I manage my home as well. A lot of people feel, oh, you are alone, cool, you can run, you can do this, you can do that. I said, no, because I'm alone, I have all the more responsibility. One, I cannot afford to fall sick. Who will look after me? I cannot even tell someone, oh, get me a chai. Oh, get me boiling water. No, nobody is there. So I cannot afford to fall sick. This is one of the reasons where I thought that health is my priority. I give me a priority. People can come into my life and can go, but I'm not changing my position of giving myself a priority the moment I wake up. That has just become my lifestyle now.
Great.
And second, I have to manage my home. I have to manage office.
Of
There
course.
are sometimes work commitments which goes beyond 6:30 and 7, and you have to fulfill that as well. I'm grateful because this is the money that I'm earning, and in a way, I'm putting that money into the passion that I want to live. So somewhere over a period, I also struggled about where I want to be and where I am right now and what I want to do and what am I doing. But then I came to a conclusion that when I'm keep able to maintain a balance of each and every aspect of my life, I go to a bed with utmost satisfaction that I'm giving more than 100% and doing my best, whether it's running, whether it's work, whether it's my personal life, whether it's keeping relationship, ensuring meeting friends, everything. I'm trying to keep a balance about it, and I'm not going to bed with any kind of guilt or dissatisfaction or that hurt feeling is what makes me feel that I'm doing a lot than just winning medals. For me,
Right.
the winning is over a life that you choose to live, and you are putting each day every effort in how you want to live about it. So yeah, it has always been challenging, but you try to go back to basics, try to bring it in a balance,
Hmm.
ensure what is giving you a peace of mind, what is giving you happiness. I do not run after winning podiums or medals anymore. I run to feel happy, feel proud about how I'm doing it, and to learn something new. Like so many 24 hours I have done and so many ultras I have done, but when I say 24 hours run, it still scares me, and that is the most exciting part. Why I still do 24 hours run, because every run has taught me something new, and that is absolutely kicking to me all the time.
So, as a woman, right, and especially in a country like India, right, there are not going to be a lot of women out there running,
Yeah,
right? Although there are,
yeah,
but still, it's not the same number as men, right? And also, you are somebody who's gone out, into international competitions, etc. As a woman, how has it been being part of the running community? Are there challenges there? In terms of whatever it may be,
yeah.
right? In terms of being a woman. So, how have you dealt with that, or would you like to share some aspects of that?
So I think somewhere I never got bothered about how others feel about me. I have always got bothered about how I'm feeling for myself.
Correct.
So initially, of course, there are always people who will talk behind your back. I have just posted recently a reel where I'm working my shoulder exercise, back exercise, lats, and I'm telling that people will talk behind your back, ensure you show a good back. So I'm that kind of a person who will not get bothered anymore about what people talk about me. I think I'm always bothered about how I feel for myself, and I only focus on things that make me feel happy and inspired. So whether it's men or women, I appreciate and I try to draw a lot of inspiration from things that they are doing differently, which I have not been able to. I try to see if I incorporate one or two things in what they are doing differently. I can adapt that and see how I can progress from here on and improvise in my running. Uh, when I'm going abroad, it is just amazing to see how running community as a whole is supportive to each other. Like recently, I had done a run in Canberra in Australia.
Yes.
Everybody, uh, I think I was the only Indian who was running over there. Um, Everybody was supportive to each other. I had no crew. I had done a self crew 24-hour run. The organizing committee, right from morning till the race ended, they were also conducting 48-hour run, and they were there till 48th hour as well. They had given me a table, and I had carried all my hydration, nutrition, and I was crewing myself, and I was also running. But they have been very supportive to tell me that, oh, you are alone. Let us know if you need anything. We have a kitchen over here. So just during my dinner time, I'll ask them. Like I said, bread butter is easily available. I'll ask them, can I get a cheese toast sandwich? Can I get a bread butter? Can I get a hot chocolate? They had told me a list of items which is available in the kitchen and they can make it for me. And they have been very supportive. And I remember when I ended the run, I was in tears, not because it was painful or whatever, but I was not sure if I can do 24-hour runs along with self grooming. Because all those who have done 24 hours will tell you that after 10 12 hours, your mind is gone.
Hmm.
Like your mind is not working in sync with your body. And if you ever have a crew team who is trying to crew you, आप सिर्फ उन पे चिल्लाते हो, ये दे दो, वो दे दो, why are you asking me what to eat, just give me food, give me water, you are not in sync. But when I had gone alone here this time, किस पे चिल्लाऊं? There is no one to hear. If I'm hungry, I have to make an effort, make for a sandwich, ask for them to help me out, or whatever food that I had carried for myself, I have to eat it by myself. I cannot shout on anyone. I cannot throw any kind of tantrums. So, for 24 hours, to keep your mind in sync with the body, that how you are feeling and what you want, it has taught me a lot of patience and resilience. And I think no matter how many 24 hours I had done, this will always be special because I had not thought that I'll be able to self crew as well as run, and which I have done. You can self crew and run a full marathon or probably a little bit of 100-kilometer run, but 24 hours is a lot. It's a lot not just on physical, more on a mental.
Correct.
Because after a point, you are just zoned out. You do not understand a thing.
Correct.
And this race taught me that. And I remember when the race got over, everybody came to me. Like I had beaten up few men as well over
Wow.
there, and they came to me and said that, do you realize how incredibly you have ran? We all have a goal in mind, and you might not be able to achieve that, but take pride and tell, once you go back to your country, tell everyone that you did this all by yourself. We all have come here with a crew. Everybody had gone their entire home, like they have a huge tent, बच्चे आ गए हैं, kitchen वहाँ पे है, like the families are very supportive. And they're like, we are running and we have come with entire family and our entire home is here and you are running all by yourself. This is incredible. So that made me feel that the community over there is so passionate about, not just because they are runners or their family member is running, but they just appreciate to each and every smallest
Correct.
aspect of it. So yeah, I'm sure during that race, those men would have also thought, yeah, I can beat her and I can beat her, because in ultra running there is no men, women as a category. Everybody considers as
Yes.
one. But to be able to uplift each other at those zones is really amazing. It just makes me feel good, and somehow I feel it lacks that much of sportsmanship in India.
So I was going to
Like
come to that, when they said, go back to India and tell people, what you've done.
yeah.
So that appreciation, is it there? Did you get it? I mean, you may not have done for the appreciation, but still, is that acknowledgement of your achievement?
No, of course, there are people who have connected me and congratulated me and have appreciated me, but I also know there are people who have also thought that ये 200 कर लेती, ऑस्ट्रेलिया गई थी, ये क्यों नहीं किया, वो क्यों नहीं किया. Like I said, it doesn't bother me at all, because you don't know my story. You only know the story as much as I post it on social media.
Correct.
You don't know my hardships, my struggle. Mine was only a 4.5 week, or I would say 5 weeks of training and 1 week of taper, and then attempting a 24-hour run all by myself. I know the challenges, and I'm not going to justify anyone else. I always tell, I may not be perfect, but just watch me improve. and I know with every run I incorporate those learnings, and I feel I'm growing as a ultra runner. See, you
Wow.
can always beat up other people's score. You can always, uh, get your own personal best score into a race. But what you are incorporating in terms of learning is what will matter to take you a far ahead in the journey.
Yes.
Scores will disappear. Sachin Tendulkar का भी score सबने beat कर दिया. Who everybody thought he's the god of cricket, but today you see there are the best of the batsmen and players, international or in our own Indian squad, that are available and are beating up his records. So scores will always get beaten up. I don't get boggled by score at all. I always question myself, what am I learning? What did I learn this time? Whether it is from my own journey or from my own race or the people around me, I try to just incorporate a little bit of it. And I think as much as running is important, crewing, strategizing your hydration, nutrition, every bit is so important.
Correct.
So that you stay injury free and you have a very strong, healthy running career ahead.
So a couple of aspects, one is the training part, right? So these are the achievements and these are what you've done. There is a lot of training. There is a lot of work that needs to go into this. Do you have a coach? Do you work with someone, or you are self-trained? What's the
I'm self-trained. Like I said previously, also I know my routine, I know my life, and I know my own body. I do think I just feel that nobody can understand as much as you understand your daily aspects and your daily body. Of course, I've been grateful for certain health enthusiasts and experts around me, that if I need some guidance, they are there. But I have always trained by myself. I make my own training plans. Depending on what race I'm doing, I just work a little backwards and I just go for it.
So in terms of training plans, I'm sure now that you've done so many marathons, it comes from your end. But when you initially started off, is there someone or some website, or it could be anything that you referred to begin with?
No, nothing. Like I told you, like I didn't even had a watch. Um, I think after 3 or 4 years, out of all this community pressure and the talks, and you don't feel FOMO about it. I remember I had bought this TomTom Spark watch,
Okay.
which I used to hardly use it. I even gave it to my friend. I said, यार तुम use करो, ये technical मुझे चीज़ें समझ में नहीं आती. I do not understand cadence. I used to not understand. People used to say you should run in zone 4, zone 3 HR. I'm like, yeah, what is this? I don't understand. I used to only understand that feeling of wearing a shoe, going for a run, coming back. 30 minutes, enjoy. 40 minutes, enjoy. 1 hour run, enjoy. बाकी नहीं कुछ समझना मुझे. So for the longest time I didn't use a watch. In entire 2019 I used to run on my Apple Watch, and I remember people making a, I know all this, that people used to say, she's fidgeting with her data, she cannot run so much of mileage, she's using Apple Watch, she's not using sports watch. I'm like, okay, but then I did championship. I did 192.8 kilometers. Everybody's mouth shut, whoever made that noise about it, that oh, she's fidgeting with her data. Here I am. I got my first sports watch in 2020, and now I'm sticking to it. And of course, as you grow runner, then now you understand cadence, this, that. But I somehow still keep it very simple. I look at my watch when I'm doing some tempo runs or speed intervals or fartlek runs, but otherwise for normal long mileage runs, I don't even look at my watch. I just know that I'm supposed to do 4 hour run today. अब उस 4 घंटे में मैं 25 किलोमीटर करती हूँ, या 35 करती हूँ, या 40 करती हूँ, इट जस्ट डजेंट मैटर. और आई विल पुट टू अ माइलेज गोल, क्या 30 किलोमीटर भागना है, उसके लिए भले 6 घंटे लूँ या 3 घंटे लूँ, इट डजेंट मैटर. आई डोंट लुक एट वॉच. I am kind of a person who will stop, take water, eat food, again run. I am not a person to starve and कि नहीं training run है. Training runs I do not focus on getting my personal best. Training runs I want to make as many mistakes that I could make, because that's why it is called as a training run. You need to go slow, you need to analyze how your body is feeling. I do not run my training runs at 3 a.m. in the morning. I run in the sun, because everybody feels you can't run in the sun, and it has always been a weak point for most of us.
Yes.
For me also, but I feel that I can only overcome this fear by doing more runs in the sun. So I wake up at ease, complete resting my body, go for a run, 7:30 I'm hungry, I stop, grab a sandwich, have a bread butter. I even have those energy milk, doodh. People say, how can you have milk and you run? I said, I'm able to run. My body is adapting everything. And even if I'm not able to, I feel something is not right. I have to puke, I puke. I have to use a loo, I'll use a loo. But in that training run, you are supposed to make all those mistakes and analyze what is working in your favor and what is not working in your favor. Because in 24-hour run, you cannot be sticking to one bottle of water or an electrolyte and not eat anything and expect you to perform the best for 24 hours. It's just not possible. So I think sticking to basics have always been my thing, and not getting too much into statistics or performance, especially during training runs, is not my forte at all.
So that's very interesting because while we were chatting before, you also mentioned about diet.
Yeah.
So there is no particular diet
Yeah.
that you particularly follow, because you also say that eat, but
Yeah.
eat in check.
Yes,
Have a
that's
check on what you eat.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
eat anything.
Yeah.
Right? So I also wanted to delve into understanding somebody runs 10K,
Yeah.
moves to maybe a half marathon, moves to full marathon, and then to ultra marathon. What's the toughest? Which graduation or which change is the toughest?
Um, See, I think it's difficult to answer because it depends on an individual to individual. If you ask me, I did ultra marathon more first, then I did a full marathon.
Correct.
I literally graduated 5K, 10K, and 21 in a month's time,
Yes.
each back to back. Uh, what I would say is that if you can run. See, I think if your mind conceives it, your body can achieve it. It is as simple as that. But there is a strong line that you have to draw between having a passion wala going mad, or like foolishly just going mad.
Yeah.
So if you're not focusing on strength, you will always find any transition difficult, whether it's 5 to 10 or 10 to 21 or whatever, because your body is not supporting. You will always have some or the other injuries, sometimes ankle, sometimes plantar, sometimes this, that, something or the other, which means that transition is not difficult. You are not coping up your body as per the requirement.
Correct.
You are treating your body as you're running 5, but you're pushing to 21. So I don't think that transition to any kilometer is difficult till the time you are following certain basics where you are giving enough amount of rest to your body, you're focusing on strength, you're working out properly, because leg workout, core is equally important.
Yes.
You're focusing on your diet, your nutrition, and not, I'm just saying diet, nutrition during the day, pre-run, during the run. People don't eat or drink anything during the run. Post-run, like people just take a protein shake or just eat eggs, and they feel recovery is done. What about carbs? What about fiber? What about fats? I think a breakfast should be a full composite meal of carbs, proteins, fibers, everything, because you are burning everything. And no matter how much you eat, protein will do its part of recovery. But what about the loss on energy?
Correct.
So that's when you're not giving sufficient amount of carbs or fats. That's when you start feeling, oh, this muscle is paining, this muscle is hurting, and you are having some of the injury. So cutting down also on food is not going to help.
Help.
I think you need to find a right balance on everything, and when you keep all these aspects put together, then the transition just becomes very comfortably and easy, and you keep a regular check onto it.
Can you just break down a week in your life in terms of running? What do you exactly do?
So, if I'm training, then Mondays are my rest days. Tuesday, I will do a short tempo kind of a run. Wednesday, if I'm doing a high mileage week, I'll go for a run on Wednesday and Thursday as well. Otherwise, Wednesday, I will do a workout. Thursday, I will run again. Fridays are yoga and stretching, foam rolling, stretching, anything, any
Okay.
form of yoga, relaxing muscles. Saturday and Sunday are both high mileage weeks as back to back long runs.
What is your high mileage?
When I have been peak training, I've done back to back 50-50, 40-50, 30-40. Saturdays, Sundays are usually like that.
Wow.
Depends on what kind of mileage that I'm planning to. Otherwise, usually I stick between 30 to 32, 35.
Most of the roads, because you run in Mumbai, most of the roads are not safe. Like we can say that, and there was recently an accident as well, right? So how do you cope with that? And what are the precautions that one should take?
Yeah.
While running. Are there some things that you do?
No, one of the key reason I stopped running before the sunlight is out is because of that. And I think previously before COVID, a lot of people used to run, so we used to still have groups and friends joining in, and we used to manage. But I think after COVID, a lot of people have got splittered in the different groups and they run in different areas. So I don't run until sun is out, and if at all I'm starting a run little early, maybe like 5:30 where it is little dark, I prefer to wear more kind of bright clothes. And there are reflectors on my t-shirts or on my Hydra bag that I use, so that if there is a light which is thrown, they know that I'm running.
Right.
Try to run opposite the traffic.
Yes.
If there is a footpath, I prefer to go onto a footpath. And yeah, I mean, I run slow. I don't listen to music, because even if someone is honking, you should be aware that they are
Correct.
honking. So I do not use music except on my race day, or I would use a music when I'm doing a shorter run around the area, and it's an area where there are no traffic, there are no buses or scooters or vehicles. It's more like a society base. So if I'm taking few rounds over there and I'm put on some music, it's okay. But again, my music is very slow. It is like someone is talking, but it is not that loud that I can't hear if there is any horn which is coming. And I think my mind is always conscious. You should always be conscious. You should not be feeling lost. If you're feeling lost, if I feel tired, I don't drag myself. I take a break. I sit down. It's okay. But you should be always watchful. Like I said, in my training run, I don't train it as if the end.
Correct.
आज के बाद खत्म. Like this is the race. This is not a race day. It's the training day.
Right.
You have to go slow. You have to observe. You have to be conscious. You have to try different things. If you're not feeling good, sit, because during a race you will go through everything. If during a race you're not feeling good, what will you do? You will quit? No. You will take a break, sit, eat water, splash some water, do all this stuff. Exactly. So you should be doing the same thing during a training. So I think on a safety precautionary measure, being cautious about yourself all the time is very important.
Right.
And I think people should avoid music early in the morning, or
Right.
keep it very light, because sometimes I've seen people are running with loud music and you are not aware about
Correct.
vehicles which are. And in India, I think there is no right side or wrong side. When a person is driving, he feels he's the king, and he or she is driving in a perfect side. So you have to be more aware than a driver
Exactly.
who's driving a car or a bike or whatever it is. So just be careful on that.
So what's the plan ahead? What do you intend to do next? And probably, I don't know how long have you thought for yourself, or do you really think like that?
No, I just think race to race. So I know in December 24 hours World Championship will come. So I'll certainly prepare myself for that. I haven't picked up my running mileage, which I will eventually do now from July onwards. And yeah, I'll just take it as it comes. For now, I'm just enjoying a lot of strength training and trying to rebuild all the lost muscles and gaining all that strength back. And I'm just enjoying that phase for now.
Great. So, being a busy woman, right? Obviously, there is, at times you cannot control your schedule.
Yeah.
There are multiple theories with which people work, right? A lot of runners. For example, they don't eat anything after 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Not necessarily them, but a lot of people, right? Or, sleep by 9 or 10, whatever it is. When you live in an urban city like Mumbai, where, coupled with travel time,
Yeah.
and obviously long working hours, it gets difficult
Yeah.
to follow that kind of schedule. A lot of people end up not doing things
Yeah.
because they cannot manage the schedule,
Yeah.
right? Because they're already so much packed in
Yeah.
terms of schedule,
Yeah.
right? So, what's the best way to break out from that and not be bound by a certain schedule?
I think I always tell people that plan your training load depending on your workload, and that's what I've been following. I do not plan a month in advance. I plan week to week. Like on Sunday, I will know how my next week is going to place like. Monday, I'll know how my Tuesday is looking like. Tuesday, I'll know how my Wednesday is looking like. So if there are any changes I need to make, I make it accordingly. So usually I will know next week work-wise how heavy it is going to be, and in my head I'm already planned like this is how I'm going to run. If at all schedule suddenly changes and I have to travel, or there is going to be a late night or whatever, then I just make changes in my training. It's okay. I know that weekend is all mine. If I can't run, let's say on a Wednesday, I'll add up that much of mileage on weekends and I'll do it. But I do not put myself off under pressure or that guilt कि नहीं ये करना ही था. I will not lose sleep over it.
Correct.
If I need to have 7 to 8 hours of sleep or minimum 6 hours, I will give that to myself.
Correct.
If it means waking up at 7 a.m. and just going for a 5 kilometer or 7 kilometer run and coming back, I'll do that as well.
Okay.
That it's better to
Do
run a
something.
7 and then rather than being a 0 or
Correct.
do a home workout.
Yeah.
At least work on your strength, but I'll do something because that has now been a routine kind of a thing.
Okay.
But I always tell people to keep a very flexible approach. Decide your training load depending on your workload, and in a way you are not putting a pressure on your body or on your mind, and it is so important that you are enjoying that process. Otherwise you will always feel completely pressured,
Correct.
and I don't like to give that kind of pressure to myself.
That's very interesting. So, finally, I want to go to the fact that yes, you have achieved all these things, right? In life, there are. I mean, you did not start off thinking you will do this,
Yeah.
correct? And today you've done so many things. For anyone, who are starting off with their journey of running, not necessarily for marathons or
Yeah.
anything like that, but maybe just to stay fit,
Yeah.
right? What are the 3 or 4 things that you will tell them that these are the fundamentals? Just focus on the
I think
fundamentals.
discipline. Just
Okay.
stick to discipline. Just stick to your routine. If you have decided every morning I'm going to go to gym from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, then you stick to it. फिर चाहे बारिश गिरे तूफान आए कुछ भी आए, you have to go for it, and it's just a matter of time. So when I used to read book, I came across this amazing
Yeah.
concept where it said that it takes 11 days to change your routine, to adapt to a new routine. So for example, if every day I make you wake up for continuous 11 days
Yeah.
at 6 a.m., your body will adapt to that change, and it takes 21 days, continuous 21 days, to make that as a habit.
Yeah.
So if you do this for continuous 11 and 21 days, then by default you will start getting up. There will be days where you don't feel like getting up, but then you just train your mind and condition that it's okay. 7 बजे gym से आने के बाद I'll sleep, but let me just go.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I do. Even I have bad days.
Yeah,
But
of
I
course.
think it's just a routine. I know that if I don't go, it's going to make me feel more sad. I just feel that they would be driving me instead of me driving the day.
Yes.
So I feel now it is so important that even if I don't feel good, I'll go for a short walk.
Yeah.
Or I'll do a small workout. I just feel I'm taking a charge of the day. And that feeling is what it's like. No, you want everything in your control. There are things which you can't control, but this is one thing of waking up and doing something for myself is absolutely in my control.
Yes.
And I feel when I do that, I start taking a charge of my life. I would not like to give the reins of my life to anybody else. So with that feeling, if you start doing it, you will stick to that discipline, and
Correct.
you will win over every excuses because you have just made that discipline to yourself. And I think every rest of the things just fall in place. Figuring out balance, eating. I think once you give yourself body that much, your body will only tell you, I want this kind of food. I don't want this kind of food.
Right.
If you are having too much of alcohol, after a point your body will only say, I don't want alcohol.
Right.
And you yourself will change. No, कल workout करना है यार, मजा नहीं आता है.
Yes.
I'll drink less.
Yes.
I will not party so much. I have to sleep earlier. I have to get up tomorrow.
Yes.
That just automatically happens. It's just a vicious circle.
Correct.
So I think just and all those people who say सवेरे उठा नहीं जाता, उसके लिए you have to sleep early. It's never a reverse way. It's always you have to sleep early to get up early.
Correct.
And if you can't change this, then I had done this exercise once, and I had told this to one of my old friend also. I love travel, and I'm sure everybody loves travel. Take a calendar, let's say of this month, 30 days, 1st June to 30th June. On each day, let's assume Monday is a rest day for all. So for rest of from Tuesdays to Sundays for all the next 4 weeks, write every country. Let's say you write Germany, you write Britain, you write Australia, Europe, different places, Bali, Seychelles, wherever you want to go. Which means the day you miss it, उस country में आप lifetime visit नहीं कर पाओगे. Is that okay?
That's
So,
interesting.
Yeah, I had done that.
Yeah.
And that used to make conscious like, no, universe will listen to this because when you write down things come true. So this is a commitment that I've given to myself. I cannot afford. I want to roam the entire world.
Correct.
I want to visit so many places. So I said no, I'll stick to it. And then again, the entire funda of 21 days falls right there.
Correct.
So you just get into routine. So I think the most difficult part for everyone is discipline or waking up. for that you need to sleep early, and if you still can't manage, make this calendar and do exercise. I had also done one with my friend. He said yeah paise kamane hain ye wo, so I said theek hai, money is important for you, the day you miss it you'll send me a video. And I had charged his wife for this. I said you will take a video where he's tearing 100 rupee note every day he misses, or a 500 rupee note.
Wow.
That hurts you.
Of course.
What hurts you, you should be doing that.
Correct.
So this is how you bring changes. So I'm just giving few examples that I played with my friends, because everybody says तेरे से हो जाता है हमसे नहीं होता. It's all excuse. It's just an excuse. I said I also struggled my bit, but
Correct.
then you stick to it. And I think my simple funda is sticking to basics. Sleeping early, by default you wake up early, and you just have to commit yourself each day and prioritize your own health, because that's the only thing in your control.
So one last thing, and this is something that comes out of observation. Social media, right? Instagram. You are quite popular. Obviously, a lot of people look up to you, and it's very inspiring,
Yeah.
right? But somewhere in our conversation, I also felt that there are things that are being said on social media,
Yeah.
right, which come to you.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not someone telling you on your
Yeah.
face,
Yeah.
but it's through social media, through
Yeah.
comments that you must have.
Yeah.
For someone like you, how do you deal with that? Because you're now popular in the circle,
Yeah.
right? So people follow you. Yeah. So that's added pressure, isn't that, for you in
No,
a way?
not at all.
No?
I don't think I'm bothered. See, it's like when you know what you are doing is giving you the happiness, and I'm not doing for anybody else, then
Of
why
course.
should I get bothered what others are saying? Like I told you initially when I started this conversation, that how I make myself feel is more important than
Correct.
how others are feeling. And people can always speculate and comment and judge me for whatever they are, but I think eventually I'll improve, and it's a cycle. Nobody is perfect, and I'll be better today. I will get best tomorrow, and again I'll have my own faults, and again I'll pick myself up.
Correct.
And I don't think I get bothered anymore. It just doesn't matter, because nobody knows what it takes to be me.
Of course.
By putting themselves in my shoes. Unless they do that, they are not going to be the right judge for anything else. So they can judge as much as they want. मुझे घंटा फर्क पड़ता है.
So that's actually a bane, right? Social media is a bane in a way. You say that for people who look up to you, who want to learn from you, they can learn a lot from you, from
No,
social
I
media.
told you, like I just take inspirations,
Yeah.
and if someone is asking for guidance, I give that.
Yeah.
The rest, just clutter it out into the window. Doesn't matter. Like just matter things that matter you should stick to you, because that gives you a peace of mind.
Yeah.
And rest of the things doesn't bother. Life में वैसे ही बहुत stress है. How much more stress can you take on all these petty things? It's like you don't start teaching each and every individual who's walking on the road. You'll only give a guidance to someone whom you know.
Of course.
So yeah, I mean, I just try to again stick to basics.
All right, Priyanka, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For taking the time out. We are really privileged to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And thank you just for sharing your story and sharing these things.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time as well.